Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Photographer Profile. I, I always like to start out with a little background on myself. My name is Nathan Rupert, and I've been a San Diego photographer for over 18 years. I've uploaded about 45,000 pictures in my career and met some amazing photographers during my travels and all the events that I've been to. It saddens me today that social media like Instagram is really focusing on reels. So we don't get to learn about photographers much these days. They kind of push normal photographers down in the algorithm. So that's one of the reasons why I started this podcast, is to introduce everyone to some amazing photographers and see their work and hear some of their stories. Today, I have Elizabeth here. Elizabeth, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey guys, my name's Elizabeth Trujillo. I'm the founder of Blush Fix Photography. We've been around since 2010, which is when I like to say we're established. I was actually 14 years old at the time. My parents were both really amazing to me. I grew up near La Jolla, and it's been a blessing to just be from San Diego, live near the beach, have amazing parents. My father owned a few businesses. My mother was a teacher and an author. And that's kind of how I came to be a photographer. My mother just one day said, "Hey, Elizabeth, can you shoot 60 of my internship students? Let's have you do video of them. Let's have you do a photo of them. Oh, and can you edit it and add music and present it at this huge ceremony with the business owners, their parents and them, and we'll play it for everybody and they'll use it in their resume." She had this brilliant idea, right? I said, "Okay, mother, you're going to get me this camera and this video equipment." And I learned, shout out if you guys remember this, but Sony Vegas. I was using Sony Vegas Pro to edit the videos. I think I used a flip camera for the first few until I graduated to a Rebel T3i, and I ended up just basically teaching myself everything in roughly a week. And we would see a few students a day, at least two, maybe sometimes four a day. And I became extremely aware of my surroundings, although I'm still very challenged directionally. I need Waze and Google Maps everywhere I go. But we would go see her students in all these different cities. So there would maybe be some students in San Diego, local, or in Temecula, in other parts of Orange County, Riverside County, Palm Springs. Palm Springs in particular was actually where I had my first client. But I ended up presenting the videos. I filmed them, I edited them. I think I did a good job, a great job, hopefully, because at the end of the ceremony, a lot of the business owners came up to me and said, like, "Hey, can you shoot our veterinary commercial? Can you shoot our bakery menu items?" And then people like, Uber Eats, like I shoot for their food now in the app. It's just, we've all kind of come full circle. And that's kind of
That's a
where
lot
it
of
all
pressure starting out.
yeah, a little bit. It was kind of like my dad's dying wish for me to start a business, and I had no idea it was going to be photography. It's just, hey, my mother gave me that little
Yeah.
opportunity, and now here we are.
She pushed you in the pool and you ran
I
you
learned
ran with it. So where are you located now?
Yeah, I actually live in Costa Mesa currently with my boyfriend and our good friends.
So you are taken, and for the people watching, how do you know me?
Um, so I've known you for many years. Here's the issue is that we never actually got to meet in person. If you want to tell that story,
Right.
go.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Um, I'm trying to remember.
I
And
think I
maybe
saw you first on Instagram. I saw your stuff on
yeah.
Instagram. I was really impressed by the portraits you took. And I think I just started on Instagram. I was trying to find other great photographers on the platform. I was like, okay, I'm definitely following her. So I
That
think
is
that's
so
what I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way about you after seeing some of your photos on your website and on Instagram. It's just, they're so real. It's as if you're looking in real time at the photos. So that's definitely what I love about yours. But yeah, I would say Instagram is kind of quasi how we met.
Any hobbies outside of photography?
Oh gosh, I wish, I feel like running a business is a full-time job. I always say we're going 25, hours in a day instead of 24 because want to have that one more hour. But after I wake up and email and edit and call clients and get leads, by the end of the day, after maybe shooting from like 6 to 8, because hey, that's perfect optimal timing. The sun is setting. I love to go to really cool restaurants with my boyfriend. We go everywhere. We're always trying something new. I always say, like, if I'm if I was never a photographer, I would probably be like the world's greatest restaurant reviewer. I try to review everybody. I try to learn everybody's name and just feel the love that's put into the food. It's so much fun.
Do you take any days off for yourself?
I just had a client. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Commerce West, but I just had a client call me, the CEO, and he was like, "Well, are you okay with maybe coming to the office on Sunday?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, sir, no worries at all." And he's like,
Oh
"Oh,
gosh.
do you work on weekends?" I mean, as a photographer, and you know this too, Nathan, I mean, we have to work when everyone else is off. That's how we're going to get and receive a client and get them actually booked on the calendar. Is they're available weekends, so are we. You have to be. You have to be ready when they are.
Sometimes we do need to get better at saying no, just for our own mental health.
It's so funny. I wish my boyfriend Jason was here. He notices a very, very impactful difference when I'm not shooting as much, when I'm not working and meeting others and helping them along, maybe in their career, in their life, or whatever they may need these photos for, this photo shoot for. I get so sad if I'm not shooting every day. It's really strange. I do get a good amount of rest, try to eat, but I think it's too ingrained in me that I need to be shooting all the time.
Well, that's perfect. That's perfect then. So what gear do you shoot with
Yeah.
then, your primary gear?
I just went over to mirrorless. I'm shooting on a Canon R5. I've never not been a Canon girl. That's just me. I mean, I have videographer contractors who are just solely Sony, and I'm very happy that they are. But there's something about the photo profile, the picture profile. I can't get rid of Canon. They're so amazing. I feel like portraits look better. You look like your best self when you're being shot with a Canon. That sounds funny. But yeah, like a 24-70. Yeah, I have a 135. I have a 35 millimeter, 50, 70, 200. It really just depends what we're shooting. And it's something different every day.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw my first video, but I also have Canon mirrorless.
Oh, Canon gang.
I have the EOS R. I like it. I enjoy the mirrorless. I think it's great.
Did you swap over all of your lenses to an RF mount?
I bought the adapter.
No shame.
My two most expensive lenses I could use adapter for, so I did not have to replace those.
There
But I
you go.
did sell a couple of my other lenses and bought the R lenses.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
So what is your favorite genre to shoot?
Oh my gosh, this is so difficult. This is so difficult. I really take it as the people that I'm working with rather than what we're shooting or how we're shooting. Most of my clients do consist of corporate headshots. We shoot families and models and actors, and I do get quite a few dating profile headshots, or just portrait, I guess, profile photos for that matter. And a lot of surprise engagements, which is hilarious because I don't think I'm the most inconspicuous person. I mean, gosh darn, I look like I'm going to a business meeting, but I have a camera in my hands. It's really fun to hide in the bushes and wait till the lucky significant other realizes I'm there. I'm like, hello, we're ready to work, guys. I mean, we shoot everything. We shoot absolutely everything. Have you ever found it, and I don't know if you feel this way too, Nathan, when you tell people you're a photographer, are they ever surprised that you're not just only a wedding photographer? You actually have a variety in what you shoot and are capable of shooting?
A little bit, just because in San Diego, you can't survive without being a wedding photographer as your full-time job, unless you have a couple galleries that you own in La Jolla or something like that. It's hard to make a living in San Diego. It's one of the most expensive cities in the United States. So most people assume that you do weddings if you tell them you're a photographer here.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably going to come to the next question, which would be, I think, due to us living in these, I guess, higher household income cities, is that's how we're able to have higher prices. That's how we're able to sustain. I mean, shooting just such a variety of photography genres, or just kind of catering to certain types of clients. When you set your prices, it is a little bit more comfortable to make a living because you know that the area that you're servicing can actually afford it. It does really help in building your clientele. You say, hey, I'm going to go where the money is. It's more like, hey, I'm going to go to those that need me and I can help them, and it makes sense financially.
I might have to hire you to take some new dating profile pictures
Oh, it's my
for
favorite
me
time.
sometime.
I could go over that really quickly, actually, for you. Not to, but I have a few rules for those dating profile clients. So, Nathan, if you're ready, we need to have a hobby of yours that we can showcase, something fun, maybe something that you do once a week or kind of shows how active you are. We need one thing that you take care of. I don't know if you have a pet, but that really should be included. People love to see that. And definitely a professional photo. I mean, I can't tell you, me being straight, I can't tell you when I see a guy and I'm like, wow, he knows how to dress, he knows how to be professional, he's clean cut. You kind of see someone in a different light when you see him in work clothes as opposed to casual clothes. But we do add another maybe casual element, or maybe some other activity they enjoy, kind of at the end in a casual outfit, just so I suppose the potential dater can see them in that capacity.
Yeah, the problem is, as photographers, we're always behind the camera, so we
Yes,
always forget to take pictures of ourselves.
that's right.
So we
That's
need to
right.
we need to be reminded to do that more often.
I know, right?
Definitely.
No, absolutely. And we deserve it too. I love the people who, when you're at an event, I'll be shooting for some large corporate event and we all kind of look very similar. And they say, well, who's taking pictures of you? And I'm like, I'm the only hired camera person here.
Where have you traveled in terms of your photography?
I mean, not far enough. I will tell you that right now. Maybe a dream would be to go somewhere like Greenland, or maybe visit some of my other family in Spain or Germany. Blushpix itself, now Blushpix Incorporated, we serve such a large service area. When I used to live in Temecula, I would say we service within a 180-mile radius. My first clients came from Palm Springs. That's
Okay.
so far away, and I still don't mind traveling to there. Orange County, Los Angeles, San Diego, all of the Inland Empire, Coachella Valley. I mean, I'll go all the way up to Ventura if
Okay.
someone
That's
needs
your
me.
is that your limit? Is that your limit? But
That's probably my driving limit. Yeah,
okay.
around there. Next month, we're being flown out to San Francisco to shoot a
Oh.
band. I've had a venture capitalist take us up to Sacramento. My assistant and I, it was like a 13-hour day, just, me hanging on poles. That sounds terrible.
Oh, okay, great. I want
I
to be
was,
this shoot.
edit that. Where's the invite? No, I remember just kind of like standing on poles or standing on like little newsstands in order to get the shot, because he had actually made commercial property out there very close to like Stanford and near downtown areas. So the slopey roads, I had to find my balance with my camera somehow, but we got it done. It was an all-day thing. Great time. I hope to have more clients that kind of just take us out for a crazy day trip, because it just becomes another story.
Speaking of shooting from high up, have you done
Yeah.
drone photography?
Oh, I have a drone operator now, actually. Speaking of my roommate, yeah, his name's Jack Fishman. He is doing our drone work currently. I have a few examples on my Instagram. I'm looking to do more video on my website, but there's some examples of a surprise proposal that we captured at Sunset Cliffs, and it was beautiful. He's secret.
That's something I want to learn, get into drone photography. I have not tried that.
I honestly think I only trust him because I realized how much knowledge I would need to gain, or how much I would need to put into it. Because to get certified, you kind of need to know no-fly zones, where the naval base is, just kind of what parameters you need to abide by. So, that's why
Oh, you
we,
have to be certified. You have to be
yeah,
certified.
yeah, to fly in certain areas, yes.
Oh, okay.
As
Wow.
far as my knowledge goes, yeah.
I did not know that. That's good
Yeah,
to
yeah.
know.
I mean, hey, anyone can learn, but I think to just kind of fly, maybe professionally, that would definitely be a great idea if you're looking to incorporate that into your services for sure.
And speaking of technology, how do you feel about AI and
Oh,
photography? The
you know,
buzzword of the year.
and it's so funny too because I feel like AI has always just slightly been here. I feel like maybe it's like aliens and it's always existed, but now we're actually using it to our advantage somehow or for our entertainment. I was recently editing a wedding photo and there was just this person in the background that I was trying to remove because they actually told me before they were a server. They were part of the catering team and they were like, "Hey, I'm in a few of these photos. Like, I know that I was there during the big moment. I'm so sorry." I tried to edit them out, and they just became this interesting figure that AI just, developed for me in beautifully scary pixel format. And I said, at the end of the day, we're still not there yet. And I will say that I am kind of thankful that that's the case in my generation of photography. I mean, being, still quite young, but also having the luxury of saying I've been doing this for 14 years. It will become something, but I think definitely in the later future will it actually affect things like the everyday headshot. And I know that there's a lot of AI, what have you, like apps and everything that kind of say, hey, let's mold you into this, or this is how you can look professional. But at the end of the day, no one's going to be you at your wedding. Like, no one's going to be you in your huge family photo. There is nothing that can ever replace the human expression. And that's exactly what I intend on capturing forever.
In the future, we might have the Star Trek holodeck. We might not even have photography. It might just all be virtual reality.
I mean, eventually, right? I mean, hey, we could put on those glasses and be anywhere, but I like my feet on the ground. I like looking into someone's real iris, and that connection is where the photo should really speak.
Definitely. What do you want to happen to your photos when you die, when you're gone? Anything
Oh,
special?
it's kind of so funny because I feel like in a small way, and in a way that I do, hope as far as let's say something like leaving a legacy or saying, hey, I hope my photos live on in some way is I was there during these monumental moments in people's lives. Like whether it be a
Yeah.
birthday, I recently did headshots for a woman who just got a job at Google, whether it be anything like obviously someone getting engaged or maybe the birth of a new baby. There are so many points in our lives that are just so significant. And if you can have a connection with the photographer, aka someone like Blush Fix Photography, if we can have that connection, I hope that we're able to live on in that way. Years ago, the CEO of GE, General Electric, and John Maxwell, one of my favorite motivational people ever, they had an interview that talked about like legacy. Don't put your legacy in an organization, put it in people. When I tell people about my career, I say, hopefully I'm just remembered as, or maybe they'll write in my tombstone, she made people smile for a living. And I do just want to kind of positively affect as many people's lives as possible, give them those memories for generations. People might remember or might forget what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And those moments of feeling and beauty and love are hopefully just captured in all those photos we took together.
At a funeral, what do they have? They have pictures of that
Yeah,
person
that's what's left,
throughout
right?
their life. We're what's left. We have that memory of that person as
Absolutely.
photographers.
Absolutely. I do have that habit. It's funny that you say that, Nathan. I was actually in tears the other day. I was shooting with a family at Balboa Park, and I'm sure you frequent there often for shoots, as does everyone. We were all shooting together. Maybe it's a family of seven or so. There's a little girl. There's parents. There's spouses, and then there's this one grandmother. And they wanted to do these photos for her. And about an hour and a half through the session, the mother of the little girl came to me and said, hey, that's my mother in the wheelchair. And I spoke to her doctor, and she doesn't know this yet, but she's not going to be alive for that much longer.
Oh
And we're
my
not
god.
very sure. And she looked at me and
Wow.
she said, can you take some solos of her? And can you make her laugh? And I hope you're not offended, but I would like to use these. photos and blow them up for her funeral. I love what she's wearing,
Wow.
and I think you're amazing, Elizabeth. Can you please do some solos of her? And I said, absolutely, absolutely. That's why I'm here.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's you're gonna make me
Oh
don't get emotional here.
no. Yeah,
Wow.
I just love I love people so much, and I hope they feel the same way, because photos can be so stressful, photos can be so emotional and make you feel so self-conscious, and my entire goal for my whole career is just to make others feel comfortable and good about themselves and just as confident as possible for whatever purpose those may be for.
I don't know about you, but when I look at a specific photo, I can almost go back to that specific moment, what I was
Yes.
feeling, what was the atmosphere, what kind of gear, how I felt that day. Do you feel that as well?
Oh gosh, as someone being like overly empathetic sometimes, I mean, I'm overly visual too, right? And as all photographers probably are on some level, I look at something and it takes me back. There's that feeling, or there's, something someone said, or maybe they hugged you, or maybe you recall what they were going through at the time. And it's crazy. It's like I can look at anything. I mean, over the last however long, every single client, I have a really good habit of remembering first and last names too. I don't know if you have this, but ironically, I'm not
Lucky.
a face person. I'm a names person. So I could go to a folder and be like, yep, that person was that way, and that person was that way, and that was how the shoot went. Yeah, I agree.
I do not have a memory like that. I'm jealous for sure.
I'm fortunate, for sure.
You sent me some of your photos ahead of time. We're gonna take a look
Yeah,
at them.
let's do
So let
it.
me share. Second.
One.
Okay. Let me blow this up a little bit. Possible.
There we are.
All right. Any bigger? All right.
Here we go.
So talk us through this photo.
Oh my goodness. You know what's so funny is I recently saw on Instagram that someone was making fun of the tunnels. This in particular photo was so wonderful. This was actually taken in San Diego. I had known this bride's mother because I used to shoot for the insurance agencies, and I would do like their golf tournaments every year and fundraising events for them, and her mother was so kind to recommend me to her. These two were just so sweet. I was actually using a crop frame and a full frame camera lens combo here, so the vignette is out of camera. Fun fact. I do
Wow.
believe it properly distorted the people, because obviously the focus should be on this lovely couple. They were really into old cars, so that's where the racing flags come from, finish line flags, what have you. And I was laying down on the ground, their old car on the side, and I mean old, like restored. She was a beauty. I think it was a Shelby Cobra back there, 69. Whoa. The dirt was going because they were revving it up somehow. I'm laying on the ground. Obviously, this crop center is doing wonders somehow, but it was crazy and it was silly, and there was tungsten light. I ended up making this black and white, and they fell in love with it, and they blew it up and they put it on in their bedroom after their wedding. So I love this shot. I think it's a
You
fun
can feel
shot.
the energy. You can feel the energy for
It was
sure.
very loud. It was very loud. It was a car, and it was people, and it was a lot of commotion that was just really beautiful.
And they say in photography, rule of thirds, but it's good to have center composition sometimes and break the rule of thirds too.
I mean, you can't just have everybody off center, eventually that needs to be, hey, let's draw the eye in.
Let's look at a second photo here. All right, so
Yes.
tell us about this one.
My friends are going to be so happy right now. In the center with his arm reaching out, my friend Tanner Hall. This is his band, Castle City. This was after many attempts of trying to shoot with this band. Everybody was finally together. Some of them live in other states. Some of them live in Seattle and other areas. And they were finally all together. And we ended up sneaking to the top of a roof in LA, right above where they live, actually. So don't tell the neighbors. But we ended up sneaking up, kept climbing to the top. It seemed like some sort of abandoned building or abandoned house that just has access to stairs and doorways and craziness. I had the guys who were a little afraid of heights stand on the side of this building, and it was just overlooking all of Hollywood. And I laid down on the concrete ground while they stood over me, and I shot upwards, and I used a Prism FX to create this little distortion here.
Like they're like ghosts from from the beyond or something like that.
Oh, yes. I mean, I just want to make it fun. I want to make it different for them. One of the photos I actually have for them is currently on Spotify for their album, so that's pretty fun.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you use Flash, I assume, on
I
this?
do. Honestly, this was taken at, I want to say, Blue Hour. So this was pretty accurate as far as the sky coloring goes, but I did use just Flash for their faces. I have a Profoto A1 that just always does the trick no matter what, and that's what we used here, and that's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the third photo. Tell us about this one.
It's funny because Tanner in the previous photo also knows these two, Cass and Brady. They are married now. This was before they were married.
Your picture caused them to get together.
Oh, totally. No, this is how they met. This is their love story in an image. No, I wish I could say that. But these two were super, super cute together. Brady's been in a few movies, and Cass used to have a cooking channel. She's modeled. She's so sweet. These two are absolutely in love. Like I said, they recently got married. But in this particular photo, Brady had some sort of connection to this area called, I believe it's called the Pink Motel. They might correct me if I'm wrong. So there's this place called the Pink Motel, and there's an abandoned diner there. So this diner is kind of separated from it, and people, as in other artists, let's say, what is it? Do you remember, what is it? Is it Beautiful Girl, Sean Kingston?
Beautiful girls? Was it plural, I think?
Yeah. You're way too beautiful.
We can do karaoke too as part of this podcast.
Oh, don't get me started. Oh my hi. Well, these two finagled their way into being able to shoot in there, and when we did, I realized, like, oh, this looks familiar. And then the owner says, yeah, I mean, music videos are shot here. And I said, well, let's do it justice. And he said, yep, just keep the theme, make it look great. Nothing's real, by the way. Everything in there had a little bit of cobwebs on it, and you can't really tell from the photos. You know, the milkshakes were just plastic, as were everything else in there, and it looks real as day, and it's cool. And I had such a great time shooting with these two. They're just,
I can't believe it's abandoned.
I can't either. It looks fully functional.
Then they kept the lights on with the neon. There's still electricity.
No, there's still electricity. It's just connected to the hotel. The hotel's the functioning part, or the motel. And then this was the diner that used to be operational, but now everything is kind of used for, like, sets.
This picture brings me back to the good old days before cell phones, before social media, when people, the 50s, people in diners having the milkshake. It's kind of I like the retro feel of this picture.
Oh, I'm so glad. That's what we tried to establish. I mean, we had them put on, roller skates after, leather jacket, go full on grease about it. It was a ton of fun. We shot there all night. We shot there past dark. It was great, which did help the neon, by the way, immensely.
Now let's look at this picture. I know you wanted me to critique this, but first kind of give me your vision on this picture at the time when you took it.
Well, at the time, I had never done a double exposure before. I had never edited in this way or this format, or even, I'm not a huge person of negative space unless we're shooting for a website and they need to place a graphic there, or maybe like a mailer for a senator or campaign going on. You don't really need negative space to put text anywhere. But I looked at this and, oh gosh, this couple and I were having such a great time. They ended up getting completely thrashed by the ocean, and we ended up going along with it. I shot their engagement photos, and they didn't love their wedding photographer, so they said, "Let's just go on the beach and let's do a trash the dress." They didn't. By the way, they didn't tell me or warn me about doing any of that prior to this shoot. This shoot on the beach. We just ended up getting there, and she was fine with being free, and he tossed her in the water, and we got a little soggy, and it was wonderful. And I said, I want to do something really special for these two. What can I do quickly to just say, hey, you guys deserve something different. You two are so different, and you love each other so much, and I've seen that since I met you for your engagement. Let me do something fun. And I ended up just having a night where I was really, really into Photoshop, and I said, let's do something different. And I had a silhouette of them as the sun was setting, like maybe like 20 minutes before this photo was taken, and it was just those two, and the sun rays were just perfectly coming through it. Obviously it silhouetted them, and I said that would be perfect for a double exposure. I'm looking to do this with another client right now, but we did it a little bit more intentionally. So I shot a very specific way for this recent client, but they want something similar to this. I'm curious if you think this is a good pose, if this is good, I guess, composed properly. Do you like what I chose? Is it appropriate? I'd love your thoughts on
Before I analyze it, how hard is it to get dirt out of a wedding dress? I hope that's not a real dress.
I've never been married, nor have I walked on the sand in my wedding dress to know, but I can definitely tell you that there are companies that do this for a living and would probably know better. But let me just say, all those steps, walking back up to the car, couldn't shake it out. That sand was on there. We're laughing the whole way though about it. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's a great job, with exposure, but it does see a little off balance where they're having this fun, flirty moment, but the exposure above them is so romantic, and you just feel this little divergence feeling between both of them. I think maybe if the double exposure above them was more of like a fun and flirty silhouette, I think that might work better, from my opinion. But
Sure.
that's
Matching
that's
emotions.
just
Okay. I like it.
And then I know I'm very particular about this because I shoot a lot of sunsets here in San Diego, and I'm always trying to make sure the horizon is pretty straight, pretty level. It's a little tilted here, but you probably the average person probably wouldn't even notice or care. And then if you did straighten it, you might cut off his bare foot there, which is pretty important to see that he's barefoot. So I'm not sure how you could fix that for
Maybe
this
that's why I
photo
didn't
in that
do it.
example. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, no, I can
I like
appreciate
it.
Oh, thank you.
I think maybe if you try to do this execution again, maybe just try to make the silhouette match the mood of whatever the mood is below it. But that's just my personal opinion.
I
But
know
no,
mine
this is
does
great.
well. Thank you.
All right, so let me stop sharing here. We're back. Woo! All right, couple more questions, and then we'll wrap this up. What is your dream shot? Have you ever thought about that?
You know what? I don't necessarily. You know what's funny? I've always thought about, hey, what would be the best thing to shoot? What would be, hey, I want to be known for this big shot. I want this to be published. I want this to be everywhere. This to be on billboards. I have had a few billboards, but
Oh,
I do.
just casually throw that out there. Just casually throw that out there.
Not that I own the billboards. I did own the picture rights on the billboards. But anything with a celebrity that is conceptual. Like, think of the photos you see on SNL of the actual guests and artists that are on there. Those photos are just they're so punchy and they're so different and they're so telling, and they always find a way to link it back to that person's career.
Hmm.
I often have conceptual ideas like that for photo shoots, and they're not always necessarily on point because the client obviously needs photos for a very specific reason and not as to just have fun with them, but more like a little bit more obvious. So, hey, if anyone's open to doing something super conceptual that kind of matches who they are, or we can think of something that ties in like a prop or a certain element or a certain pose, I'd love to have some SNL type of style edits up my
I mean,
portfolio.
I can see Lady Gaga contacting you to do some crazy theme or.
Oh, don't jinx it, dude. Yeah, that would be a dream for sure.
And you said you've been published. Would that be one of your greatest accomplishments? Is those billboards? That's pretty cool that you got billboards with some of your
Oh,
photos on them.
thank you. Um, you know, I don't know. I mean, accomplishments are very interesting to me. I feel like there's always something we're all chasing as photographers, as humans in general, looking for the next best thing, like the next best accomplishment. But I've done a lot. I've had the pleasure to teach a few people about business and how it works, and that's always come first for me as far as the industry. It's not just about the photos; it's about running a business well. When I spoke at one of my main lead funnels, they're called Thumbtack, if you're familiar,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, many of us are. And obviously, I was back with them when leads were $3 to $7, and now here I am, loyal to them still. It's like $75 per lead sometimes. But I had the opportunity to speak at an event of theirs at in LA, and it was so rewarding and so much fun to show people how to work on the platform and kind of get those leads and say something appropriate, say something that is going to really resonate with the potential client that you have, and be able to convert that lead into not only a closed sale but a new client that you're able to build a rapport with and hopefully eventually be friends with. I had a really nice opportunity there to kind of tell my story about how to build a business with no capital. I mean, I kind of just
Wow.
went into this with just a little
Yeah,
site
that is extremely difficult to do. So
it,
that's great.
you know we all have to start from somewhere, and I feel like my accomplishment and my achievement really comes from helping others, and I feel like I helped a good amount of people that day when I did that speech.
Absolutely. So, do you have any crazy, weird, out there stories from any of your photo shoots or
Oh,
travels that
I
you've
do
done?
have I do have a few doozies. I won't bring up those. I'll bring up something a little bit more lighthearted. I I shot. I had one particular festival that I shot called Coachella,
Oh,
and
I've heard of it.
I maybe once and twice, right? I mean, we are from California. If you're familiar with Coachella, you understand the what the kids call a vibe, what the non-structure structure of the event is, which is just a lot of sweaty people, a lot of porta potties, a lot of incredibly talented artists that we have to run to see in the scorching hot desert. But like I said, that area always will have a place in my heart. But this particular year, it was, I want to say, Coachella 2017.
Okay.
I um I was shooting at the private parties. I was so
Fancy.
fortunate to not, yeah, so fancy that Kristen Stewart waved me off just because I was shooting for a particular tequila brand, and she happened to have it in her hand, and she said, and I said, "Okay, Kristen," and walked away. Yeah,
Oh my
those
god.
kinds of parties. I got approached there by a director that I won't say the name of and a producer, and they said, "Hey, what are you doing? Let me find you. Let me find your work. If you're shooting these celebrity parties at Coachella and not Coachella itself, you must be important." And I mean, 2017, I was younger than I am. over here approaching 30, I don't necessarily feel like it was that long ago, but I was so honored that they thought that. Although I was well into my career, I said, yeah, like, I'd love to shoot for you guys. Da, da, da. Little did I know what they do or what they did or their careers. I knew where they were
Right.
from. I knew their names. They were super kind. And that ended up being an all-nighter where we stayed in Sylvester Stallone's house with
Wow.
6 other models and actors. And obviously we stayed up all night for some unmentionable things that they were doing. And
Oh my God.
we had
Did you get
pizza.
paid for this?
I was getting paid for the festival photos themselves. I don't think I was taking anything monetarily from everyone in the mansion there. We
Oh
we
wow.
had a great time with the infinity pool, dancing all night, laughing with each other, learning about each other. There's some really cool people in the world, even if they're in some sort of unsavory industry. There's some people who have good hearts, and I was really fortunate to choose the right house to get into and agree to be in, for 2 nights, and that was an amazing Coachella weekend.
Wow. You stayed in that mansion for two
Yep.
days, days you were at the festival,
2 days,
and then at
48
night you went to
hours in Sylvester Stallone's old house. Yes. It
wow.
was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Obviously, it was a vacation rental because he doesn't live in Palm Springs, but this was a great time.
Was there nudity involved? Can you say that much?
I should plead the fifth. There were bikinis. Everyone was in bikinis. Even one of the gentlemen was in a bikini. I do recall everybody being quasi-professional, but at the end of the day, I mean, some of us were thrown in that infinity pool, and the rest of us didn't come out.
Okay, I won't ask you too many more details, but it sounds like a fun time.
Lovely. It was lovely.
All right. Any questions for me? Final thoughts here? We're
Yeah.
almost done.
I mean, Nathan, like, I've wanted to do something like this for so very long, and I find it so admirable that you're starting a podcast. I always like to say, oh, I started shooting before it was cool. For you to be able to say, like, hey, I'm going to start a podcast in 2024, and I'm going to, try to help others and showcase other photographers. Not only I feel like that's selfless because you're helping us, but it's also kind of intriguing to find out why you wanted to do this right now. Like, what was the motivation or the intention set as far as a goal to start one in general?
I've been watching a lot of YouTube podcasts recently, and I've been watching some where they interview people about their budget, their financial circumstances.
Sure.
And then one day it just came to me, I was thinking, what do I know a lot about? I was like, oh, photography. I was like, whoa, what kind of podcast could I do? Oh, I could talk to other photographers. And the cool thing for me is I get to see their work as well, right? These pictures that people took. So it's a benefit for me as well to see how other photographers have done this images and hear the background on these pictures. So it's kind of a dual thing like that.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Yeah. A lot of cool people are going to be introduced. I know you know a lot of cool people like us in the industry. So I think this is going to be really cool and really fruitful.
Yeah, I've messaged a bunch of photographers on Instagram. Not many have gotten back to me, but I'm hopeful that they'll return my message, my DM, and we'll get some great, photographers on this podcast in the next couple episodes.
And the ones who do respond are the ones that are, meant to be go on this journey with you. So everything happens for a reason, completely.
So tell everyone how they can find your work, how they can contact you.
Sure. Yeah, well, again, I'm Elizabeth. Blushpix Photography, that's BLUSHPIX, because X marks the spot. You went to the right website.com. So blushpix.com. I'm Blushpix everywhere. On Instagram, if you just type in Blushpix Photography, you're gonna find me. You're gonna find me on some crazy site that I made maybe when I was 14 just to show my work out there. So yeah, find me at Blushpix everywhere.
I'm gonna show, this is the YouTube URL, youtube.com/photog profile. So go there, everybody, add your comment, join the discussion, add a comment. What questions would you like me to ask, the next guest? I don't want to keep using the same questions every time. I want to mix it up a little bit. So leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, give some love, and I'll try to find some more great photographers to interview.
Yeah. I'm curious what those are going to be about what everyone else is interested in.
Yeah, maybe I'll use the AI question generator to
Oh,
brainstorm some doozies.
Some doozers over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's try to stump a photographer. I mean, those of us that believe we're always right on something.
Well,
I'm interested in the
I
other
appreciate
people.
Well, I appreciate your time. I know I know we had to move it a little bit from this past weekend.
And I appreciate you.
So we're flexible here as well for those other photographers that might be interested. We're flexible in scheduling.
Yes. People who are not coming from their feet hurting from Comic-Con. You guys, make the date, set it, talk to Nathan here. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you so much. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.